Every night for 6 months, my wife Jennifer would kiss me goodnight, tell me she loved me, and then lie straight to my face about where she'd been that day. The routine was always the same. She'd come home from her yoga class at 9 p.m., shower immediately, and climb into bed with stories about her instructor Maya and the other women in class. My name is Marcus Thompson. I'm 34, and I thought I knew my wife of 7 years. Jennifer worked as a marketing coordinator for a tech startup, had a predictable schedule, and claimed she'd started evening yoga classes to help with stress from work. She even bought yoga mats, workout clothes, and talked constantly about poses and breathing techniques. The only problem? There was no yoga class. I discovered this by accident when I decided to surprise Jennifer with flowers at her yoga studio. I wanted to take her out for dinner after class, maybe rekindle some romance in our marriage that had been feeling stale lately. When I arrived at Serenity Yoga Studio at 8:30 p.m., the parking lot was empty and the building was dark. "We close at 7 p.m., the owner told me when I called. "We don't have any evening classes, and we've never had an instructor named Maya." I sat in my car outside the dark yoga studio, flowers wilting in my lap, trying to process what this meant. Jennifer had been lying to me every single night for 6 months. But if she wasn't at yoga class, where was she? That's when I decided to find out. I'm a software engineer, so surveillance technology isn't foreign to me. I installed a GPS tracker on Jennifer's car, set up monitoring on our shared phone plan, and started documenting her real schedule versus what she told me. The truth was devastating. Jennifer wasn't going to yoga class. She was going to the Marriott Hotel downtown, where she was having an affair with her boss, Derek Sullivan. Every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, she'd drive straight from work to the hotel, spend 2 hours with Derek, then come home and lie to my face about warrior poses and meditation. The hotel receipts showed they'd been meeting there for 6 months. Always the same room, always charged to Derek's company credit card. Jennifer would text me from the hotel parking lot. "Just finished yoga, heading home soon, love you." But the lies went deeper than just the affair. I discovered Jennifer had been living a complete double life. She'd told Derek she was unhappy in her marriage, that we were separated and heading for divorce. She told her coworkers that she was single. She even created a fake social media profile where she posted photos of herself at restaurants and events with Derek, pretending to be an unmarried woman dating her successful boss. Meanwhile, she came home to me every night, kissed me, told me she loved me, and asked me about my day like nothing was wrong. The final straw came when I found the apartment lease. Jennifer had secretly rented a studio apartment across town, supposedly for Derek to use when he traveled for business, but the lease was in her name, and she'd been using our joint savings account to pay for it. She'd stolen $8,000 from our shared finances to fund her affair. That's when I decided Jennifer needed to experience what it felt like to be lied to every single day. But I wasn't going to confront her. I wasn't going to file for divorce. I was going to give her exactly what she'd been giving me, a masterclass in deception. I started small. Jennifer would ask about my day, and I'd create elaborate stories about meetings that never happened, projects that didn't exist, and coworkers who were fictional. When she asked why I was working late, I'd tell her about urgent deadlines that were completely made up. "How was work today, honey?" she'd ask, fresh from her hotel rendezvous with Derek. "Crazy day. Had to troubleshoot a server crash that affected 3 major clients. Spent 4 hours on calls with the development team in India." I'd reply, knowing I'd actually spent the day researching divorce lawyers and private investigators. Jennifer would nod sympathetically, sometimes even massage my shoulders while I spun tales about my fictional stressful day. The irony was incredible. She was comforting me for lies while hiding her own betrayal. After 2 weeks of small deceptions, I escalated to bigger deceptions. I told Jennifer I'd been selected for a special project that required travel. It's a 6-month consulting contract with a company in Seattle. I'll be flying out there twice a month, sometimes for a week at a time. Jennifer was thrilled. "That's amazing, Marcus. What an opportunity." Of course she was excited. more time for her to spend with Derek without worrying about my schedule. I created fake flight confirmations, hotel bookings, and expense reports. I even had business cards printed for the fictional Seattle company. When Jennifer asked about my trips, I'd show her photos I'd downloaded from Seattle tourism websites and tell her detailed stories about meetings with executives that didn't exist. The best part? I wasn't actually going anywhere. While Jennifer thought I was in Seattle, I was documenting her affair, gathering evidence, and planning my next move. During my fake business trips, Jennifer's behavior changed completely. She'd stay out until midnight, claiming she was having dinner with girlfriends or attending work events. She'd dress up in expensive clothes I'd never seen before and wear perfume that wasn't in our bathroom. One night, while I was supposedly in Seattle, I followed Jennifer to an upscale restaurant downtown. She was having dinner with Derek, holding hands across the table, acting like a couple celebrating an anniversary. They were so comfortable, so natural together, that it was obvious this relationship had moved far beyond just physical.
I took photos from across the restaurant, then went home to our empty house and called Jennifer. "Hi, honey. How's Seattle?" "Great. Just finished a productive meeting with the client. How's your evening going?" "Oh, just quiet night at home, ordered takeout and watching Netflix. Missing you." She was literally lying to me while sitting in a restaurant with her lover, and I was lying right back while watching her through a window. The symmetry was perfect. After a month of fake business trips, I decided to take the deception to the next level. I told Jennifer I'd met someone in Seattle, not romantically, just a friend who was helping me navigate the city and the business culture there. Her name is Sarah Chen. She is a project manager at the client company, really professional and knowledgeable about the industry. She's been showing me around Seattle, recommending restaurants, that kind of thing. Jennifer's reaction was immediate and intense. "Her? You're spending time with another woman?" "It's completely professional, Jen. She's just being helpful." "I don't like this, Marcus. It doesn't seem appropriate for a married man to be spending time with another woman, even for business." The hypocrisy was breathtaking. Jennifer was having a full-blown affair while lecturing me about the impropriety of fictional business dinners. I started mentioning Sarah more frequently, how smart she was, how helpful, how she'd recommended a great sushi place or helped me understand a complex client requirement. I'd show Jennifer photos of Seattle restaurants and claim Sarah had taken me there. Jennifer became increasingly paranoid and controlling. She'd call me multiple times during my fake trips, asking detailed questions about my schedule and who I was with. She'd demand photos of my hotel room and receipts from restaurants to prove I was alone. "I trust you, Marcus, but I don't trust her. Women can be manipulative, especially with married men who are away from home." This from a woman who was manipulating her married boss while lying to her husband every single night. The final phase of my plan began when I told Jennifer that Sarah was coming to visit our city for a business conference. She's never been to the East Coast, so I've offered to show her around a bit, just being a good colleague, returning the favor for all her help in Seattle. Jennifer lost her mind. "Absolutely not. I forbid you from seeing this woman outside of work." "Jen, that's completely unreasonable. She's a business contact, and I'm just being professional." "I don't like this. Something about this whole situation feels wrong. I think this Sarah person has feelings for you, and you're too naive to see it." Jennifer demanded to meet Sarah, to verify that this was purely professional. She wanted to come to Sarah's hotel, to join us for dinner, to essentially chaperone my fictional business relationship. That's when I revealed the truth. "Jennifer, there is no Sarah Chen. There is no Seattle project. There are no business trips. I've been lying to you about everything for the past 2 months." The color drained from her face. "What are you talking about?" "I'm talking about the same thing you've been doing to me for 6 months. Lying every single day about where you've been and what you've been doing." "Marcus, I don't understand." "Serenity Yoga Studio closes at 7 p.m. They don't have evening classes. They've never had an instructor named Maya. You've been lying to me every night about yoga class while you were actually at the Marriott Hotel with Derek Sullivan." Her mouth opened and closed like a fish out of water. "How did you—" "I can explain. You can explain how you've been stealing money from our joint account to pay for an apartment where you and Derek can meet? You can explain the fake social media profile where you pretend to be single? You can explain how you've been telling people we're separated while kissing me goodnight every evening?" I pulled out a folder containing everything: hotel receipts, GPS tracking data, photos from the restaurant, bank statements showing the apartment payments, screenshots of her fake social media profile. "I know everything, Jennifer. Every lie, every betrayal, every stolen dollar. The question is, how does it feel to be lied to every single day by someone you trust?" Jennifer started crying. "Marcus, I'm sorry. I never meant for this to happen. Derek and it just developed over time. For 6 months, you looked me in the eye every night and lied to my face. You asked about my day while hiding your affair. You lectured me about appropriate behavior with other women while you were cheating on me with your boss. I know I was wrong, but we can work through this. We can go to counseling. We can—" "Jennifer, 2 hours ago, you were furious about me having fictional business dinners with an imaginary woman. You called me naive and demanded to chaperone my fictional professional relationship. But you've been having a real affair for 6 months.
The hypocrisy was finally hitting her. She'd been living a double standard so extreme that it would have been funny if it wasn't destroying our marriage. "I was jealous," she admitted. "The thought of you with another woman made me crazy." "But you had no problem being with another man. You had no problem lying to me, stealing from me, and humiliating me?" "That's different." "How is it different, Jennifer? Explain to me how your affair is different from my fictional friendship." She couldn't, because there was no difference except that her betrayal was real and mine was just a mirror reflecting her own behavior back at her. The divorce proceedings began the following week. Jennifer tried to claim that my psychological manipulation with the fake business trips was emotional abuse, but her lawyer quickly explained that lying to an unfaithful spouse wasn't grounds for anything except poetic justice. The evidence I'd gathered made the divorce straightforward. Jennifer's affair, the stolen money, and the secret apartment lease gave me significant leverage in the settlement. She had to pay back the $8,000 she'd stolen, and she got nothing from our joint assets. Derek fired Jennifer 2 weeks after I confronted her. Apparently, having an affair with a subordinate using company resources was against corporate policy. Jennifer had to find a new job while dealing with the divorce, and her professional reputation in our industry was damaged. The apartment lease she'd signed for Derek became her problem when he refused to pay for it anymore. She had to break the lease and pay penalties, adding another $3,000 to her financial losses. 6 months later, I ran into Jennifer at a coffee shop. She looked tired, stressed, and much older than her 31 years. "Marcus, I want you to know I'm sorry. For everything. The lying, the cheating, the money, all of it." "I believe you're sorry, Jennifer. Sorry you got caught." "No, I'm genuinely sorry for hurting you. What I did was inexcusable." "Yes, it was. But you know what the worst part was? It wasn't the affair. It was the lying. Every single night, you'd kiss me and lie to my face. You made me feel crazy for having suspicions. You made me doubt my own instincts." "I know, and I understand why you did what you did with the fake business trips. You wanted me to experience what it felt like to be deceived. Did it work? Do you understand now what you put me through?" Jennifer nodded, tears in her eyes. The paranoia, the constant worry, the feeling that everything you thought you knew was wrong. It was horrible. That's what you gave me for 6 months. Every day, wondering why you seemed distant, why our intimacy had changed, why you were always on your phone. You made me live in a world of lies while you lived your truth with Derek. I was selfish and cruel. I don't expect forgiveness, but I want you to know that I learned something about myself that I never want to repeat. As I walked away from that coffee shop, I realized that my plan had worked perfectly. Jennifer now understood exactly what it felt like to be lied to by someone you trust. She'd experienced the paranoia, the doubt, and the devastating revelation that everything you believed was false. The difference was, her lies had lasted 6 months and destroyed our marriage. Mine had lasted 2 months and simply revealed the truth. Sometimes the best way to teach someone about the consequences of their actions is to let them experience those consequences firsthand. Jennifer learned that lesson the hard way, and I learned that some people will only understand betrayal when they become the victim instead of the perpetrator.